Hey guys, today we're pulling back the curtain on something that could be affecting your health right now, without you even realizing it. Picture this. You open your medicine cabinet in the morning. A neat row of bottles greets you, some for your heart, others for your joints, a couple for sleep. You know when to take them, what color the pills are, even how they taste. But here's the thing. What if the combination of all those medications is quietly making you feel worse instead of better? You sit at the breakfast table and sip your coffee. The world outside feels a little fuzzier today. Your joints ache differently than usual. You can't quite remember if you took your evening pill last night. You chalk it up to age or maybe the weather. But the truth might be sitting right there, disguised in those prescription labels. This is the world of polypharmacy, a word that sounds more like medical mumbo-jumbo, but for you it might mean juggling 5 or more medications every single day. For many older adults, it's not uncommon, and it's not necessarily wrong, but when medications start to pile on, the body doesn't always cooperate the way we think it should. The liver and kidneys, your body's cleanup crew, work a little slower. Your body fat increases, your water content decreases, and suddenly, the same dose that helped 5 years ago now hits harder, lingers longer, and reacts differently. You trudge through your day, and maybe you feel more tired than usual, a little foggy. Your balance feels off. You find yourself blaming it on getting older, when in reality, it might be the silent storm of medication interactions whispering behind the scenes. Doctors don't always catch it either, not because they don't care, but because medicine today is rushed, complicated, and overly specialized. One doctor prescribes something for your heart, another for your sleep, another for your pain. They each focus on their own piece of the puzzle, but no one stops to look at the whole picture. You're the only one who lives with the full picture every single day. And it's not just interactions. There's a sneaky phenomenon called prescribing cascade, where the side effect of one drug gets mistaken as a new health problem. So what happens? You get prescribed another medication to fix it. Before long, you're on a medication to treat the side effect of a medication you didn't need in the first place. It's like trying to fix a leaky roof by adding more buckets instead of patching the hole. Let's say you've been feeling lightheaded lately. Your doctor increases your blood pressure medication, but the lightheadedness might actually be from that same medication dropping your pressure too low. Or maybe your stomach's upset and they give you another drug for indigestion, when the real culprit is the anti-inflammatory you've been taking every morning for your arthritis. And still, no one talks about it clearly. You go in for checkups, they ask how you're feeling, you say, fine. Maybe you don't want to be a bother. Maybe you've been told that's just aging. But aging doesn't have to mean confusion, fatigue, falls, or fuzzy thinking. Not always. Sometimes it's the meds. The real challenge? Side effects in older adults can look nothing like textbook symptoms. Instead of stomach pain, you might get constipation. Instead of dizziness, you just stop going out as much because the world feels unstable. Instead of memory problems, you start to withdraw from conversations because you feel overwhelmed. Now you might be wondering, what can I do? You don't want to stop taking medications you need, and you shouldn't, but you can take a more active role. One of the best things you can do is create a full list of every medication, prescription, over-the-counter, vitamins, herbal supplements, and bring it to every appointment. Yes, every time. Keep it on paper. Keep it in your wallet. Update it when something changes. And more importantly, ask your doctor or pharmacist this question. Is everything on this list still necessary for me right now? Ask it like you mean it, because every medication you take should still serve a purpose, and that purpose should be worth any risk it brings. If it's not, that's where a conversation starts. There's something powerful about reclaiming your own understanding. You don't need to become a doctor, but if you understand that more pills aren't always better, you start to ask better questions. You start to notice patterns in your own body. That dry mouth could be a side effect. That new rash could be from something new in your pill box. That strange, unshakable fatigue, maybe not just age. And look, it's not just about avoiding side effects. It's about protecting your independence, your ability to walk safely, think clearly, enjoy meals, sleep deeply, and connect with others. If a small adjustment to your medication list can help you stay upright, alert, and out of the hospital, that's worth fighting for. So the next time you're reaching for your morning pills, take an extra moment. Look at them. Ask yourself, do I know what each of these does? Do I still need them all? Is anything new bothering me lately? Write it down. Bring it up. You deserve to understand every substance you put into your body, especially now. You've lived long enough to know that small things, left unchecked, can grow into big problems. But with awareness, attention, and a little courage to speak up, you can turn that medicine cabinet from a mystery back into a tool of healing. You can take control again, gently, steadily, wisely. You stand up from your recliner and feel it again. That slow, swirling wobble in your head. A second later, your knees stiffen, your arms reach for the side table. You steady yourself, but the feeling lingers. It's that same lightheadedness that's been creeping into your mornings. You think maybe you got up too fast. Maybe it's dehydration, but there's something else, something more subtle. Think back to that little pill you take every morning, the one your doctor prescribed years ago for your blood pressure. Maybe it's called amlodipine or lisinopril or hydrochlorothiazide. You've taken it for so long it feels routine, like brushing your teeth. But that small tablet can have effects that go far beyond your blood vessels. And in older adults like you, those effects can be serious. Blood pressure medications are lifesavers, no doubt about it. They reduce the risk of heart attacks, strokes, kidney failure. But here's what doctors don't always tell you. When your blood pressure drops too low, especially suddenly, it can make you dizzy, faint, confused, or worse, take a fall you never recover from. And the older you are, the more vulnerable you become to this effect. Your baroreceptors, tiny sensors in your blood vessels, aren't quite as responsive as they were at 40. So your body doesn't correct sudden drops in pressure as quickly. That's why when you rise from the sofa or the toilet, your head spins. Your vision fades just a bit. You grab a chair without thinking. That's orthostatic hypotension, a fancy term for your blood pressure falls when you stand. It doesn't stop there. Some blood pressure meds act as diuretics. Water pills. They pull fluid from your system to reduce pressure. Sounds helpful, but if you're not drinking enough water, and let's face it, many seniors aren't, they can leave you dehydrated. Dehydration then compounds the dizziness, adds fatigue, and can even affect kidney function. You might start drinking less because you're afraid of running to the bathroom too often. That's totally understandable. But over time, this quiet cycle can spiral. The very pill that's supposed to help you live longer is now making each step more dangerous. Now imagine this. You're walking into the kitchen, a little dizzy, a little sleepy from that pill you took last night. Maybe you didn't sleep well. The sunlight is bright through the blinds. You blink and your foot catches the edge of the rug. A second later, you're on the floor. Your hip, your wrist, maybe your head. One fall can change everything. You lose confidence. You start walking less. You stay home more. The world narrows. This is why balance issues and falls should never be brushed off. They aren't just normal aging. Often they're a warning sign that your blood pressure medication, or its dose, needs to be reevaluated. So what can you do? Start with your blood pressure log. If you don't have one, begin today. Take readings at different times of day, especially before and after standing up. If your systolic number, that top number, drops by more than 20 points when you go from sitting to standing, that's a red flag. Talk to your doctor with data. Say, my pressure drops when I stand and I feel dizzy. Be direct. Bring your list of medications and ask, can we revisit this dose? Your doctor might be able to reduce it, change the timing, or switch to a different type altogether. And don't forget, not all blood pressure pills are created equal. Some have longer half-lives, some act more gently. Some are combined with others into one pill, which makes things harder to track. Make sure you understand what each pill does and when its effects are strongest. For example, if your pill peaks mid-morning and you always feel woozy around 10 a.m., that's a clue. There are also lifestyle tweaks that help, and you're not too old to make them. Get up slowly. Sit on the edge of the bed for a moment before standing. Flex your calves and ankles. Drink water first thing in the morning. Add a pinch of salt to your food if your doctor allows it. Sometimes the body needs a bit more to stay upright. And remember that dizziness isn't the only sign your medication may be affecting you. Vision changes, brain fog, sluggish thinking, these can all stem from pressure that's too low. One day you forget a friend's name. The next you're unsure what day it is. That confusion may not be dementia, it could be circulatory. Also, watch for shortness of breath. Certain blood pressure meds, like beta blockers, can slow your heart rate to the point where you feel tired even walking across the room. Your heart's doing less work, but maybe too little. You deserve to have your medications tuned to your real, lived experience, not just to numbers on a screen. And here's another layer doctors sometimes miss: interactions with other medications. If you're also taking meds for anxiety, sleep, or depression, they can amplify the effects of your blood pressure pills, making you even more unsteady. One tiny overlap can create a huge ripple in your balance, alertness, and overall confidence. But here's the hope: your body is still capable of finding its rhythm again. With careful adjustments and honest conversations, many older adults reduce their dizziness, prevent falls, and feel steadier in both body and mind. It starts with watching, noticing, and asking. You've earned the right to walk without fear, to move through your home without questioning every step. Don't let a pill rob you of that freedom, not when a simple check-in with your doctor could give you back your balance, both literal and emotional. So the next time you feel a bit off kilter, pause. Don't just push through it. Think about your blood pressure. Think about that tiny pill. It might be time for a change. Not a dramatic one, but a thoughtful one. You've listened to your body all your life. Keep listening. It still knows what it needs. The night stretches on. You lie there wide-eyed, staring at the ceiling. The shadows on the wall shift as the moon rises. You've tried counting sheep, reading a few pages of your mystery novel, even sipping warm milk. Nothing seems to hush the hum in your mind. Finally, you reach for that familiar pill on your nightstand. You tell yourself it's harmless, just something to help you sleep. But what if that same pill is quietly stealing parts of you, piece by piece? Sleep aids, those little blue or white tablets, sometimes over the counter, sometimes prescribed, can feel like a lifeline when sleep becomes elusive. Maybe it's zolpidem, better known as Ambien. Maybe it's something stronger, like temazepam. Or perhaps your doctor gave you an antihistamine, like diphenhydramine, the active ingredient in Benadryl, also used in many PM pain relievers. But these drugs don't just lull you to sleep. They can fog your memory, shrink your attention span, and raise your risk of falls, confusion, and even dementia. Nobody tells you that, do they? You're not alone. Millions of older adults rely on sleep meds. After all, aging changes how and when you sleep. You might fall asleep more slowly, wake more often, and rise earlier than you want. You miss the deep, satisfying rest you once had, and that loss weighs on your mood, energy, and memory. So it seems harmless to take a pill. It works, at least for a while. But over time, that help turns into a trap. You may not even realize it's happening. You wake up groggy, your brain feels sticky, you forget where you placed your phone or why you walked into the kitchen. You chalk it up to age, but it's the drug, not you. And here's the thing, sleep meds don't create real restorative sleep. They sedate you. That's different. You might fall asleep faster, but your brain skips essential stages of sleep, like REM, the stage that helps you process memory, emotion, and healing. It's like turning off the light in a cluttered room without actually cleaning it. You wake up to the same mess, only more disoriented. Some of these drugs linger in your system much longer than you expect, especially as you age and your liver and kidneys slow down. What leaves a younger adult's system in hours can hang around in your body all day, creating a cloud of confusion, anxiety, or instability. You might not connect the dots at first, but suddenly you're more irritable, more forgetful, less steady. And the risk of falling? It doubles, sometimes triples. Especially if you wake up in the middle of the night, disoriented, and try to find your way to the bathroom. A slip on the tile, a crack of the hip, a hospital stay, and all because of a pill that promised rest. And if you're taking other meds that depress the central nervous system, like painkillers, anxiety pills, or even certain antidepressants, these interactions can worsen everything. It's like stacking weights on a fragile shelf. Eventually, it collapses. But the saddest part? Many doctors still prescribe these medications to older adults without pausing. Maybe they're pressed for time. Maybe they assume it's fine. Or maybe they don't realize just how differently your brain handles these drugs now. The truth is, guidelines from experts like the American Geriatric Society clearly say many sleep meds should be avoided in people over 65. Yet they're still handed out like candy. Why? Because it's easier to prescribe than to talk about sleep hygiene, about routines, about deeper issues. Let's pause here. You might be thinking, so what do I do? I need my sleep. Of course you do, and you deserve it. But there are safer ways. Start by tracking your sleep for a week. Write down when you go to bed, how long it takes to fall asleep, how often you wake up, and how rested you feel in the morning. Also jot down your daytime habits. Caffeine after noon, screen time in the evening, late night snacks, naps that last too long. You'd be surprised what patterns emerge. Next, rework your sleep environment. Make your bedroom cooler, darker, quieter. Try a white noise machine or soft music. Establish a calming bedtime routine. Tea, gentle stretches, light reading. These small rituals tell your brain it's time to rest. And most importantly, if you're using a sleep aid regularly, don't quit cold turkey. That can be dangerous. Instead, talk to your doctor about a gradual taper. They might suggest melatonin, which is gentler and naturally produced in your body, though even that should be used thoughtfully. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, is another proven approach. It's not just talk therapy. It's a practical method to retrain your brain and body to sleep better without medication. And it works, even in your 70s, 80s, or beyond. You're not weak for wanting rest. You're not helpless, but you deserve to know the truth. Many sleep meds don't just affect your nights. They chip away at your days. They dim your clarity, muffle your joy, blur your connection to others, and all under the guise of helping. Imagine waking up refreshed, not groggy, remembering the names of your neighbors, moving around your home without that slow unsteadiness. That kind of clear, energized living is possible, but it may begin not with a new pill, but with letting go of an old one. So tonight, when you look at that familiar pill on your nightstand, ask yourself, not with guilt, but with curiosity, is this really helping me anymore? And if the answer feels uncertain, it might be time for a new kind of rest, one that heals, not hides, because your mind is precious. Your nights matter, and your life, the full, vivid, alert version, is worth fighting for. You sit down at the kitchen table and rub your lower back. That dull, persistent ache that's been with you for years just won't let go. Maybe it started after a fall, or maybe it crept in with the arthritis in your hips. Over time, you've come to accept it. Pain has become part of your daily life, something to be managed, not cured. So like many older adults, you reach into your drawer and take a pill. It might be acetaminophen, or maybe it's ibuprofen, naproxen, or something stronger, like tramadol or even an opioid. The pain fades. You can move a little easier, rest a little better, but what you don't see is what else that pill is numbing. Not just your pain, but your alertness, your bowels, your memory, even your independence. Let's start with the basics. Over-the-counter pain meds like NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, ibuprofen and naproxen are widely used, and for good reason. They can be effective. But in older adults, especially those over 65, they come with quiet dangers that many doctors forget to spell out. These drugs can irritate the stomach lining, increase the risk of ulcers and internal bleeding, and raise your blood pressure. They can also harm your kidneys, especially if you're dehydrated or taking other meds like ACE inhibitors or diuretics. And yet, you might take them every day because the pain doesn't stop. Then there's acetaminophen, often thought of as the gentle option. And yes, it's easier on the stomach, but it's not harmless. In high doses or over time, it can strain your liver. Many older adults take multiple medications that include acetaminophen without even realizing it. cold meds, sleep aids, prescription pain relievers. The total dose adds up fast. And let's talk about the big ones now. The prescription opioids, hydrocodone, oxycodone, tramadol. These drugs don't just reduce pain, they alter your brain chemistry. They dull your senses, they slow your gut, they fog your thinking. You might have started taking them after surgery or for a chronic condition like spinal stenosis. At first, they worked wonders, but over time, they stopped being as effective. So your doctor increased the dose. Or maybe you started taking them more often than prescribed. That's not weakness, that's biology. Your body adapts. The same dose no longer brings the same relief, and you don't even realize it's happening. Meanwhile, your reaction time's slow. You feel more tired, more irritable. You find yourself withdrawing. Maybe you skip meals because you're constipated and uncomfortable. Maybe you avoid walking because your legs feel too heavy. Maybe your family notices you're not as sharp as you used to be. You wonder if it's aging, but part of it might be your pain meds. And here's the kicker. Opioids and sleep meds don't mix, yet many older adults are on both. The combination increases your risk of falls, confusion, and even overdose. Even a low dose can be too much for a body that processes medications more slowly. Let's get even more personal. Imagine you've been on tramadol for months. You feel dependent, but also guilty. You're scared to bring it up with your doctor. You think, they'll just take it away and leave me in pain. But what if there's another way? What if you didn't have to suffer in silence or rely on something that chips away at your clarity? There are safer pain management options, especially when doctors and patients work together. You can ask about topical treatments like lidocaine patches or diclofenac gel that act locally without affecting your whole system. You can try physical therapy, not the punishing kind, but gentle stretching and movement routines that rebuild strength over time. Heat packs, warm baths, and low-impact exercise like water aerobics can offer meaningful relief. So can acupuncture, massage, and TENS units, those little electrical pads you place on your back. You don't have to be a wellness guru to try them. You just need an open mind and a doctor who's willing to think beyond pills. There's also the possibility of lowering your dose gradually. You don't have to stop cold. Many people taper their pain meds slowly, watching for improvement in alertness, digestion, and mood. Often, you don't notice what the drug was doing to you until you start coming off it. It's like emerging from a fog you didn't realize you were in. And let's not ignore the emotional side. Living with pain is exhausting. It steals joy. It isolates you. That emotional weight can make you reach for anything that brings relief. That's human. But you deserve to feel like yourself again. Alive, awake, present. Pain is real. So is your courage. And you're not weak for wanting more than just getting through the day. You deserve a plan that respects your whole self, your body, your mind, and your spirit. So the next time you reach for that pill, pause, ask, is this the only way? Not with judgment, just with curiosity. And then take that question to someone who listens. Ask your doctor, can we talk about other options? Bring your family into the conversation. Tell them how you really feel about the pain, the pills, the fatigue, the fear. Because once you open the door, new options start to appear. They may not remove the pain entirely, but they might give you back something even more valuable. Clarity, freedom, peace of mind. You've learned to live with pain, but maybe it's time to learn how to live beyond it. You finish your breakfast, a few slices of toast, maybe some fruit. You reach into your pill organizer and take the familiar tablet that controls your blood sugar. You've been told it's essential. You've followed your doctor's advice for years, but lately, something feels off. You feel shaky in the late morning, even though you ate. You get irritable, anxious, and suddenly you need to sit down. Sometimes you sweat for no reason. Your hands tremble. You feel weak. Then you remember, you took your diabetes medication early. Maybe a little too early. Maybe you didn't eat enough. And now your blood sugar is dipping lower than it should. You've just experienced hypoglycemia, a blood sugar crash. And if you're over 65, you're much more vulnerable to it than you might think. Let's break this down. Diabetes medications are designed to keep your blood sugar in a safe range. For younger adults, that range can be pretty tight. But for older adults, aiming for the same targets can be dangerous. Because when your blood sugar gets too low, you may not feel the warning signs as strongly, or you might not recognize them at all. One moment you're reading, the next you can't focus. You feel dizzy, confused, maybe even panicked. If it happens in the middle of the night, you might wake up in a sweat, disoriented. And if you live alone, these episodes can be frightening and risky. Medications like sulfonylureas, such as glipizide or glyburide, or insulin are the biggest culprits. They're powerful. They push your body to lower blood sugar, sometimes more than it needs to. And your ability to recover from those lows isn't as strong as it once was. Unlike a younger person whose liver rebounds quickly, your liver might take longer to release stored glucose. So the low lasts longer, hits harder, and the aftermath leaves you more fatigued than you expect. Doctors don't always adjust for this. They might prescribe what's in the guideline, not realizing that your life, your meals, your activity level are different. They don't always ask, are you skipping meals sometimes? Eating smaller portions? Moving less than you used to? Because if the answer is yes, and it often is, then the same dose that worked last year might be too much now. And when your blood sugar crashes too often, it starts to affect more than just your energy. Repeated lows have been linked to cognitive decline, falls, heart rhythm problems, and even emergency hospitalizations. In fact, hypoglycemia is one of the top reasons older adults with diabetes are admitted to the hospital. Not high blood sugar, low. It's not just the obvious medications either. Some combination pills, or those once-a-week injectables, can sneak in strong effects. And some newer drugs, while marketed as safer, can still cause unpredictable dips when combined with certain foods, alcohol, or even other medications you're taking. So what can you do? Start with awareness. If you're taking a diabetes medication, track your symptoms. When do you feel weak, shaky, dizzy, or off? Keep a small log. Pair that with a glucose monitor, whether traditional or a continuous one. Know your numbers. If you're seeing frequent readings below 70 milligrams per deciliter, that's a signal something needs adjusting. Next, don't skip meals. Even if you're not hungry, eat a little something. Many older adults naturally eat less, smaller portions, fewer snacks. But diabetes meds often assume a consistent intake. If your eating pattern shrinks but the dose stays the same, it's a recipe for a crash. Also, talk to your doctor about your A1C goals. Many seniors don't need the same strict targets as younger patients. A slightly higher average blood sugar can be safer, more stable, and less stressful. It's not about being lazy with your care. It's about balancing quality of life with realistic safety. Bring up the topic like this. I've had some low sugar episodes, and I want to understand if my current medication is still right for me. You don't need all the technical terms. Just share your experience and ask about alternatives. Some medications, like metformin, are generally safer in terms of low sugar risk, though they can still cause issues like upset stomach or, in rare cases, vitamin B12 deficiency. Newer classes like SGLT2 inhibitors or DPP4 inhibitors may be gentler on your system, depending on your other health conditions. Each option has pros and cons, but you deserve a full explanation without being rushed. There's also the issue of combining diabetes meds with blood pressure meds, statins, or antidepressants. These can amplify side effects or interfere with appetite and digestion. Everything's connected. And don't forget about hydration. Even mild dehydration can affect your sugar readings. So keep sipping water through the day, especially in warmer weather. What about exercise? Yes, it's good for blood sugar. But in older adults, timing matters. Taking your meds and then going for a long walk without a snack can lead to a sugar drop. So pair movement with small meals or light snacks and monitor how you feel afterward. It's all about regaining control, not perfect control, but informed control. You've earned the right to live without fear of a faint spell in the grocery store or a confused episode in the night. You deserve to enjoy food again without worrying every bite might send your sugar too high or too low. And here's a powerful reminder. You are not your numbers. A good day isn't just defined by a perfect glucose reading. It's defined by how strong, clear, and steady you feel. If that means adjusting your goals, changing your meds, or easing up on strict routines, then so be it. You've lived too much life to be ruled by a chart. So take that pill with full understanding. If something feels wrong, trust that feeling. Ask questions, get second opinions. You are allowed to say, I don't feel right, and I think it might be the medication. Because at the end of the day, managing diabetes in your later years isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. You've made it all the way here, and that says something about you, about your courage to question, to learn, to protect your well-being. We've walked through the quiet corners of your medicine cabinet, where those little pills, so easy to trust, can sometimes whisper side effects instead of solutions. Not because they're evil, not because your doctor meant harm, but because your body has changed and your life deserves a different kind of attention now. Maybe some of what we talked about sounded familiar. The lightheaded moments, the foggy mornings, the restless nights, the small doubts you've pushed aside. It's okay, you're not alone, and you're not too late to make things better. Start by noticing, write things down, bring your questions to the people who care for you. Ask, do I still need this? Could this be why I've been feeling off? Let your voice be heard. You've earned that right 1,000 times over. And share this video if it touched something in you. Maybe a friend, a sibling, or someone at your church needs to hear it too. Drop a comment and tell us, what medication surprised you the most? What's been your experience? If this kind of content helps you, give the video a like. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. We're here to walk this road with you, open-eyed, open-hearted, one step at a time. You've lived a life full of lessons. Let this be another, not of fear, but of empowerment. You still have more living to do, more mornings to enjoy, more clarity to claim. So tonight, breathe deep, rest easy. You're doing the right thing.